Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today I want to show you the 2021 PSE Drive. Now the PSE Drive is the model up from the beginner bow in the PSE lineup. So you've got the PSE Stinger, then the Drive is the next step up. So not in the elite level, it's in the sort of step up, so it's the person who wants to sort of get started in archery and doesn't want to have a beginner bow but wants a bow kind of as good as the top line stuff but doesn't want to spend the money. That's the PSE Drive. Now the PSE Drive for me is my biggest selling bow. Now you're going to say, well, the PSE Stinger is your biggest selling bow. About the same numbers of PSE Stingers are sold as PSE Drives. And especially last year. Last year the Drive really picked up with the new cam system. And so when this sort of came into my store yesterday, last night at 5 o'clock, when we're literally closing the doors, a shipment rocked up, 4 boxes of 15. I was like, well, let's take a look at this. So with PSE, the Drive and the Bow Madness were almost the same in 2020, and you're going, well, what's the difference between the bow? And what also made it confusing for customers and the store owners was the PSE Drive existed and the PSE Drive XL existed. Now the XL was extra long, so the PSE Drive was 30 inches and the Drive XL was 33 inches, and the XL was like, was that for extra long draw length? Is it for an extra long bow? Well, 33 inches isn't an extra long bow, but it's the same sort of specs as the Bow Madness, same sort of price, so the Bow Madness was kind of obsolete. Well, in 2021 the Bow Madness becomes obsolete. It's gone. The PSE Drive now becomes one bow. That's been the 33, which is this one here. So 33 inches long, and it's got a specs chart here, which is nice. You can see it's not going to get in the way of the cams. Where my last review, this thing got stuck in the cam, which was a bit annoying. 330 feet per second. Draw length is adjustable from 24 to 31. Now that's with a rotating module up here. Now you'll see with this module here, it's not the same as the other PSE modules. This is different. With the more expensive PSEs, you've got adjustable let off here, so you can adjust this backwards and forwards. With the cheaper model, the Drive, you cannot, it's set. It's 2 screws to adjust the draw length, and you just move it. A being the longest, and each letter is 1/2 an inch. So O being the shortest, being 24 inches. Brace height 7 inches, which would be nice and forgiving, easy to shoot, easy to aim, 80% let off, and it's got the other specs there about the string sizes. So when I first saw this and it came into my shop, all my staff want to open up and see what the new Drive looks like because we hadn't seen pictures of it. So the first thing I want to point out, and the thing I love about PSE is I'm going to say almost every year they make these little changes and you go, that's cool, should have done it before. And we've been doing this for 1970 PSE started, so we're talking same age as me, 50 years old. You've been doing this for 50 years, you should have done this before. But what I see here, this is where the limbs bolt into the riser. And you can see the thread here, so you can see how far down you can wind this bow. Love this. All bows should have this, and I know with PSE on their more expensive models this is covered up here so it looks aesthetically pleasing. Look, I don't mind this. I'm more than happy to see it here. It gives me access to it, and what's really good about this bolt here is when you're winding these limbs back, it makes it easier because this then pivots in here to make it easier to wind the bow out, especially as you start to wind this out, this angle here will change. So where before they used to tap into the riser, as you wound it out it'd be hard to budge. This is great, and if people do strip it out, we just grab one of those and put it in. So good. I'm skipping over the major point, but we're going to go there. Multiple sight positions here, which I like. That's pretty standard on a PSE. Cable guard, pretty standard cable guard. I'm not a fan of this system here. What it is, it's 2 clamps that clamp onto this rod that hold in place. PSE have been using this since 1980s, and definitely back in the laser days of, I'm talking not the new laser, I'm talking the old lasers of back in the 1980s. I've been using this clamp onto the riser here. It's a little key there to adjust it. Look, it works. Not a fan. It's better than the bolt that they used to have in the side there that clocked into the cable guard. It works. One bolt here. Now I'm not sure why PSE haven't gone to the two arrow rest holes, so you can bolt your arrow rest in twice, because to me it'd be pretty simple there. You just add a bit of metal there and another hole. The weight of this bow, 4.3 pounds, which is a good weight. It was interesting. So my staff, when they picked this bow up, they're like, oh, how heavy does it feel? And one said 3.8 and one said 4.2, and I picked up and went 4.3, and then we checked the specs and it was 4.3. To me it actually feels a little bit heavier than that, and I would prefer the bow to be lighter, but it's definitely not heavy in the realm of today's bows. But this is beginner's bow, and it's prefer it lighter so it's more adjustable, more suitable for everyone. So there's no lower stabilizer system here, which I would prefer. I don't know if they haven't done it for strength or whether they've done it just to reduce the cost. They have two lower stabilizer holes, one there and one there, which I really like. And they're a bushing system, so it screws into the riser. I like it because if you break something, easy to fix. Okay, as I get over my allergies, so the big things that have changed this year, the cam system. You'll see the size of it, it looks huge. And I'm going to be interested to test this out. So it looks bigger than last year's. The shape's different to last year's. Now last year's binary cam, or whatever you want to call it, it's a twin cam. The string stop here had to fit between the two cables, and if you had any type of cam lean, the cables would get caught or touch this stop here. And I suppose I had to shim, I want to say shim, move the cam left to right on maybe 3 or 4 bows last year. Now there may be more bows that had to be fixed because I ship out lots to shops, but I personally fixed about 3 or 4 bows, and that's which were touching this. And the way you can tell is because you're getting wear on the cables here. So once you shimmed it and made the cam stand straight upright, the wear went away and it was all good. Bit disappointing for a shop to have to do that, especially for the owners of the bow, that they've got to take it in and get it fixed, or they might not know why it's occurring. Well, what's happened this year, PSE have put the yoke system in, and what these two cables here do is they pull this cam straight. Now you still may have to shim this cam left to right, but the chances are, because it's pulling evenly on this cam here, chances are much reduced. Now each one of these limbs is a different poundage. Still, that's standard on all the PSE line, all the PSE bows, and that's standard on all PSE bows. So you may still have to shim it, but less likely to have to shim it. So what's really changed? So they've changed this yoke system, which is cool, but this is different. Look at this here. This is very, very different. I'm going to sort of show it up close. Now when I first looked at this, I thought, oh, what's a stand? It's like all the other PSEs where you have a yoke here and this is a separate cable. Now with this system here, I'm going to zoom up to it, you can see you could probably do that, but that's not how these cables have been designed. When they've made this cable, they've then split it and made 2 separate yokes, like you make with a standard string. So you've reduced your costs of making strings, because it's just, this is a standard string now. It's 3 strings, not 5. So you've reduced the costs. Now I don't mind this system. I really don't. And what I like about this system here is when you've got a floating yoke, your only choice for getting this cam to line up is to shim the cam left to right. When you've got independent yokes here, you can twist up the yoke to create cam lean. So for tuning the bow, you can twist one of these cables now to get this cam exactly straight. So that's really good. And the way PSE have done it, it's like a twist through the middle there. So it kind of, they separate it and they twist it, which is a bit unique. I've never seen that done before. So obviously PSE have got some smart engineers. Now I'm going to say some customers are probably going to worry about stuff like that. It's not a strand. I put a bit of wax on it and not really worry about it. With strings, each strand is rated to about 80 pounds of strength. You've got about 24 strands here. It's just so strong. I don't tend to worry about that much. I just tend to go shoot. So whether that's right or wrong, it's up to you. I had a person return arrows they shot for 2 months yesterday, and they said that the insert wasn't cut quite straight. They didn't notice it until someone at the club told them. I'm like a beginner, it's like, it's not going to make any difference. Anyway, so now we put a cost on cutting arrows, and we put a cost on it, and we put a cost now to put inserts in for people. So I suppose if things are not done, if you do stuff for free and then it costs you money, then you've got to charge for it, because when you stuff it up, right? So, and it costs money anyway to do it because it takes time. Right, so the other thing with the PSE drive, the rubber grip that can detach, so you can shoot without the grip. Depends if you like the grip or don't like the grip. And I find it's probably 70 or 80% of people will keep the rubber grip on there. Some people will take it off. Now these string dampeners, I'm not a huge fan of. I don't know if PSE have improved them over the years. I used to find on my old ones that they used to move. So just see how they go. If you don't have any luck with them, you can change. PSE have got ones which look like an X. They seem pretty good. There's others from Limb Saver or Bojacks that you can put in here. They absorb a bit of shock and a bit of vibration. So see how they go. They used to move on mine. Not a huge fan. So what's the difference between this and the $1,300 model up? Plastic limb pockets versus machine limb pockets to start off with. The model up has got a locking system, so it locks in. This has still got it here. These limbs clamp in, but it's not clamping out as well, which is what's in your $1,300 model. Your module's different, so you've got the ability to adjust your let off on your $1,300, $1,400 model. The axle thickness, you can see this is the thin axle. The $1,300 one will have the thick axle, so you'll get less. I don't know if there's, sometimes you'll see these angle down, so you'll get less of that with a thicker axle. The riser, I'm not sure whether this is a machined or cast riser. The $1,300 one is definitely machined. Different cable guard. Obviously 5 strings versus 3 strings. Well, that's a good or bad thing. It's got a rear stabilizer hole in the $1,300 model. The balance of this bow, look at that. See how it bounces back? So it's more like, this bow is designed for a stabilizer to be fitted to it. The $1,300 model will be perfectly balanced in your hand. So is that a good or bad thing? The balance on this is more like your PSE Supra, which will point backwards. So if you're going to add a stabilizer to this bow, you'll need less weight at the back. You generally want your weight at the front. The back weight is not so critical. The reason you have the back weight is to balance the front weight, and putting more weight at the front stops you doing that. The back weight less so. So you'll see a lot of the target bows will be backwards balanced. That's by design. Price point. The price on the drive for the Drive NXT, which is the 2021 version, goes up marginally from the Drive XL. For me, it was $30. Is this $30 better than the Drive XL? Absolutely, no question. This yoke system, the stabilizers, yes, it's $30 better. In fact, I really like this yoke system. I haven't had much to do with it yet, but I think this is a huge improvement. and I'm really looking forward to shooting this bow. Things I would like to see PSE improve, because I tend to do that. I love this. I'd like to see this bow in colors. I think this bow is very functional, and you'd probably say, well, that'd take away from like the PSE laser sales. Look, yes and no, but the lasers are more expensive bow than this. And I just think that so many people want coloured bows. And I'm not saying purple and pink bows. There are so many people now who want grey, olive, tan. I've got target shooters wanting tan bows, and I've got hunters wanting, coloured bows. It kind of does my head which way they're sort of going, but it's like you're a hunter and you're going for a coloured bow, and you're a target shooter and going for a tan bow. Nothing. It is what it is. People like choice, is what I'm trying to say. And I think by PSE, this will be PSE one of PSE's biggest selling bows. And I know that if PSE had more colour options in this bow, it would mean they need to stock more products. It means the stores need to stock more. But this is the big selling bow. Have it in more colours. I would like a two-piece bow quiver. And PSE do have the option here. This is where it bolts in. But PSE no longer have a two-piece bow quiver, which I think is a bit disappointing. I know that Americans don't use two-piece bow quivers largely. They use a one-piece so you can detach it. Two-piece is just what most Australians would prefer, because they walk around, less shakes, less wobbles. They generally don't take the quiver off the bow. It's a bigger gap between there and there. Two-piece quiver would be cool. Besides that, I think this bow is really well priced in the market compared to its competitors. And where does this bow compete against? Well, let's face it, Hoyt don't have a cheap bow. Well, I don't think they do. The Elite Embark, which we just did a review on, that's a more expensive bow than this by about $200-$300. Whether it's better or worse, this has got adjustability. It's now got a yoke system. Yes, it does have the plastic limb pockets where the Embark has the machine pockets. I mean, to me, there's not a lot of bows in the lower price point. There's a lot at the top price point, and a lot of companies compete well at the top price point. But in the lower price point, the companies are going, there's no money, we won't bother making it. So I think this bow competes probably, Bear have some, but Bear is so hard to get. It's just like, so hard to get. So Bear bows probably compete well against this, and they're quite comparable. Thing about PSE, like, you can get the parts easy, you can get the bows relatively easy, especially now PSE's ramped up its production, they've expanded the bows they're producing. They're now out in 2 warehouses they're shipping from to try and get the products out. I mean, they've done a fantastic job in producing, in trying to meet the demand in a short period of time with the whole COVID stuff. And with PSE, you sell one, and if a person has a problem, it's like, well, there's no problem. We can just get that, right? And with other companies, someone has a problem, it's like, yeah. So, I mean, I had a guy, I'm not going to say the brand because I get in trouble. He broke his limbs on another brand, local archer, in a club here. And the local dealer's like, yeah, I'm not helping you. And so he contacted the company direct. I think he got charged so much for the limbs, and then the dealer charged $150 to fit them. I was like, I could have fitted them for you. It's only half an hour work. So if you chuck me some, like $30 or $20, I would have fitted them for you. But he's like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Well, you know now. Anyway, what I'm saying with PSE, you generally don't have those issues. You've got to probably wait for the parts to come in if you break something, but I just have no stress with PSE and stuff breaking. They just like, yep, we want to keep people happy, let's fix it. And for me as a dealer, that's really good because the margins are crappy, and you're like, and when most people dry fire their bows and break their bows, we have a lot of dry fires and breakages through misuse, and PSE is like, yeah, we can fix all this for you, so it's low stress. Alright, so I think that's about it. The PSE Drive XL, PSE Drive XL has been replaced by the NXT. I think it's awesome. And yes, it's the same specs as the Drive XL. But like it, I'm going to do a whole review of shooting it. I might even set one up for target shooting and see how well I can shoot with it for target. I think I'll shoot pretty well with this bow. And with the old Drive, I shot particularly well with. Like, I did some of my best, shooting here in my reviews with it. I grouped really well. I shot really good scores with the Drive. So with that, have a good day and be safe. Thanks for watching. Bye.